Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Metal Gear. Time to save a hostage, baby. Thank you for releasing me. Dr. Madnar was just transferred to Building 2. Building 2 is located 10 kilometers north of here. Oh, now it all makes sense. But why was Dr. Madnar moved? Somebody's not telling me anything. Big boss, maybe you know something about this. No, Solid Snake, I don't know anything. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to take me medication. I'm becoming a wee bit forgetful of me old age, laddie. Alright, the truck has been starting to move. And yeah, that's also something you gotta watch out for with the trucks, because, yeah, get in the wrong one, and they will pretty much move back to a previous location, therefore meaning you have to backtrack. Just keep that in mind in case, certain somebody forgets to tell you something. But yeah, to talk about the items briefly, yeah, you notice that if you go back into a room, and, well, something you've probably already seen dozens of times at this point, is that, yeah, exit a room, come back in, item respawns. You can use this to quite easily refill. Some Metal Gear games will actually have this be a feature on, easier difficulties, whereas on harder difficulties, if you take an item once, gone for good. But thankfully, this is something you can exploit in the MSX games, I'm guessing due to programming limitations, so yeah, if you need supplies, have at it. Ignore Mailing's advice of naught's had, all's spent, something desires heart's content. So yes, you can in fact be greedy with items. Although then again, I think the Chinese proverb Mailing was trying to say was that, don't get greedy if it's near an enemy. Oh no wait, hang on, was it, the man doesn't cross the river if the crocodile has bad breath? Whatever. I was never really good at Chinese proverbs. In fact, I'd probably be about as good at it as Otacon was in Metal Gear Solid 2, where if you fail 13 times, well, I mean, if you save 13 times, he pretty much gets scolded by Mei Ling and, beaten up. Anyway, to digress about what we're actually doing here, Dr. Madnar is, well, he was moved, obviously, so he ain't here. We gotta go to Building 2. And in terms of anything else, apart from maybe one or two items and, well, one other hostage that's still in Building 1, yeah, we're pretty much done here, so we're finally moving off to greener pastures. But as for anything else, though, I need to think of something to say. Well, I mean, I guess I might as well talk about another little detail that Metal Gear doesn't do as often as the other games, but it's really to do with alert phases. Again, you have your obvious, blue, exclamation point when you get spotted. Then you also have what happens when you're spotted by security cameras, and if guards have 2 exclamation points. Yeah, that's pretty much the secondary alert phase. Again, if you're spotted by a guard in, like, a one screen, then, again, take out that guard and you pretty much cancel the alerts. If you get spotted by those with 2 exclamation points, then that pretty much means that, a lot of the guards are going to be chasing you, regardless of how far you run. You pretty much need to take out a set amount of enemies as per kill limit, and then the alert phase ends. Again, not quite as advanced as it otherwise would be in terms of, how Metal Gear games will be developed a little bit later on, but that's, Again, it's a nice little detail that does at least add a little bit more meat to the game than what you otherwise would have seen, even of games like much later on in the generation, so... Again, say what you will about Metal Gear as a franchise in terms of, how it's more story, plot per distance traveled as opposed to gameplay, but... Again, there are a lot of details to that gameplay, which does make it a very interesting series to play through, obviously. And, again, as we're making our way off to Building 2 as we cross the desert, first of all, get your mine detector out. And, yeah, make sure you have plenty of mines. I don't know, just call it a hunch. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, this is Solidus-Skully. I forgot to tell you that I forgot my tangents for the commentary. Over. Whatever. Again, you don't really need to worry too much, it's just a matter of avoiding the mines. Oh dear, we're under attack already. Ah! Run away, run away, run away, run away, oh my god, a tank. Do we have any grenades on hand? Diane, give us the deets, baby.
Hi, this is Diane. Mines can destroy the tank. Bye.
Probably a much more reasonable way to destroy a tank than lobbing grenades into the cockpit, but... hey, whatever works. Yeah, anyway, there is a bit of a caveat to this tank boss battle, namely that unlike in Metal Gear Solid where you get run over but take a bit of damage depending on the difficulty, not here though. Again, the main two killers of this tank obviously is its primary guns. I mean, the machine guns do pip damage, so no harm, no foul. But yeah, avoid its gun for massive damage, and avoid getting ran over by it, because unlike Metal Gear Solid, you will get flattened and, you know, die. I mean, as tanks are of wont to do, so... Yeah, this is also why you need to stock up on mines. Make sure you have enough to take it down. I don't know the exact numbers, so make sure that you're at least rank 3 and above, because otherwise, well, Solid Snake is gonna be flattened like a solid pancake. But yeah, apart from that, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, you can pretty much tell when the tank's gonna use its main gun, because it uses the, you know, the shells that it used to try and take you down when you're making your way over towards Building 2, so... Yeah, that's pretty much all there is. By the way, I'm re-recording this, because my previous take of this, unfortunately, kind of bit the dust, and holy crapping fudge knockers, I nearly died. But I didn't. This rookie is learning the ropes. But anyway, now that we've finally made it to Building 2, it seems that there is trouble afoot. It seems that this here foxhound is trying to infiltrate this base. Whatever you do, do not let them through. This is Big Boss. Inspections. Wear the enemy uniform and infiltrate. Exclamation point. Let's use frequency 120.13 for all communications from now on. Over. And, yeah, that's also why you needed the enemy uniform. I believe if you contact Schneider, he'll probably tell you where it is, but... Yeah, this is why you're wearing the enemy's uniform. They're like, go on in! Without really looking at Solid Snake's face, or even the fact that his character model didn't really change at all. Oh well, but I mean, anyway, this is Building 2. We're pretty much gonna get more security guards, more items to help us advance. And in this case, in terms of anything more important, this is where Dr Madnar is being held, so... Yeah... More plot per distance traveled and things to do. Dun-dun. Blood. Dun-dun. Knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. I really should have edited these sequences down, but... that takes time and effort, and... It's Christmas! Surely we should have the chance to be a little lazy. But yeah, you don't really need the mines for anything else after this point, so fuck it really. Although, that being said, we are about to come up to the hardest boss in the game after already dealing with a boss fight, so... Yeah, pacing bosses per distance traveled, although, if you even want to consider stuff like, you know, the tank or the Hind D boss fights, technically... I mean, the game does, so I guess it technically counts, but... I don't know. A lot of the strategies aren't really too elegant, which I suppose you could use as a criticism compared to later games in the series, but... Yeah, I don't know, I mean, if you think the boss fights aren't too hard, well, this one will certainly answer the call. Anyway, this fucking steamroller shovel thing... Oh god, that's getting a bit too close. You gotta kill this thing rather quickly. Because, I mean, if you don't, it flattens you and you pretty much die instantly. And it does get gradually faster, so... Yeah, you gotta make sure all your hits land before it gets to the other end of the room, otherwise you are fucked. F-U-C-K'd in the USA, but we're not in the USK, we're in the... Outer Heaven... But yeah, watch your back on that one, because that boss is incredibly cheap, moves incredibly quickly, and, well, quite frankly, is kinda cap of shit. But yeah, this is also technically connected to Building 3 as well, via the waterworks, and of course by another stretch of desert, but, well, that's a little bit of a long way off. But those are pretty much the three main areas of the Outer Heaven facility, and in turn, if you're looking to check your progress in terms of Metal Gear stuff, pretty much a determinator as to what part of the game you're in, really. I mean, in this case, you're pretty much, say, at the midway point, but again, we've still got plenty of things left to do, and, there's such a lot of dead air for me to find something to talk about. And look, everything's so grey. It's like the budget ran out. What is this? The color! It has returned! Finally, we're out of the realms of fucking Game Boy era stuff. And yeah, unlike the elevators in the Building 1, yeah, you have two specific elevators, one that only goes up and one that only goes down. I guess Schneider cheaped out when he was designing this part of the facility, but whatever. And oh no, we had no choice but to run away, even though there was... No, actually, no! I tell a lie, because the guards said that they were on the alert for foxhounds, so never mind, scratch that thought. Thank you for releasing me. Dr. Madnar is in the underground dungeon. You need to roll a +1 with equipment of a paladin level 13 to access him. What a nerd. But yeah, I mean, actually, this whole little alert sequence makes perfect sense. I guess they were expecting the Foxhound operative to try for the roof, and yeah, never mind. So yeah, they're on the I mean, they obviously do know that Solid Snake is pretty much a threat at this point, so yeah. Seems he's getting a little bit too far for comfort, but who keeps tipping them off? Oh my god! Jetpacks! Ah! Ah! Well, I mean, I suppose to sort of bring up a bit of trivia as we while away the hours getting our way through to the basement, or the underground dungeon, as it were. Yeah, localization stuff. Again, you don't necessarily get it in the Snake Eater Subsistence retranslation that they gave when they put all these games into Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, or Substance, or whatever the fuck they want to call it these days. But yeah, in the original Metal Gear, like, I mean, on top of having, you know, weapon names like, oh no, it's an AK-47 for the submachine gun, yeah, they technically also have, like, different translations depending on what part of the world you were. Like, I mean, if you had the original MSX cartridge in you know, in the PAL regions, it again, if you enter the truck, Snake would pretty much say, oh no, the lorry has started to move! And, you know, that sort of thing. So again, there were technically unique translations in the regional MSX cartridges of Metal Gear, but yeah, that's pretty much about it. So they did decide to give it more of a regional translation by the time of, you know, this game, but I don't know. It's interesting to see what they did. Anyway, putting all that aside, still have more hostages to rescue, and there is actually a facet of this basement that I do want to talk about a little bit later, but in the meantime, we got a hostage to save. Thank you for releasing me. Did you get a load of that Dungeons & Dragons nerd? The only way out from this floor is to find the north elevator. Oh, the hardness, what have you? Dearie me. But anyway, like, I mean, apart from being filled with gas and pretty much requiring a slightly bullshit method of where you have to temporarily switch out of your gas mask to use the card keys, there is actually a way that it also connects back to Building 1. Again, you don't have to cross the desert again, but there is a way in which you can connect from this building to Building 1, which is meant to act as a bit of a fast transit system, but unfortunately I didn't exactly get the memo, and as such, well, yeah, I'll pretty much take the long way round to Building 1 for a specific plot point that we'll be seeing in the next part, so yeah. Whoopsie daisies. I guess it means that I suck. Snake would be disappointed. Row. Row. Anyway, I like the basement theme. It's rather cool, and, you know, to kind of talk about the soundtrack for a little bit, I really love Metal Gear 1's chase theme. In my opinion, it is probably the best in the series, because I don't know, like, the way it transitions from the, you know, traditional blood to, you know, to the whole thing of dun 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 dun. I don't know. Like, I mean, it captures the whole feeling of an, oh shit, we gotta run away, run away, run away, run away. But at the same time, it's also, you know, the fun of the chase is like, oh, the chase is on again. And if that sounded like filler commentary for you, it was. So I could get to this tangent of holes opening up in the floor. A traditional staple of the Metal Gear series, but none are more bullshit than here, because if you so much as dip your fucking toe into the abyss, you die. And you're gonna get caught with that a whole fucking ton of lot. So, watch your back. In fact, it's entirely possible that I might die as Solid Snake. But yeah, get within the proximity and make sure that you run away. So, I didn't die. I'm saved! But yeah, holes are by far one of the most bullshit things in this game, and by God, the game loves to abuse them in the later points, because why bother creating interesting cell sequences when you can just go, nah mate, a hole's opened up, nah mate, you're dead, even though you're technically still on screen and a hole opened up, nah mate, you're fucking dead, even if you're just narrowly on the edge, nah mate. Archaic 80s game design rearing its ugly head yet again. Anyway, we now have this cotton. Dr. Madnar, you're saved!
You fell into my trap. The real Dr. Madnar is on the 2nd floor. Die, foxhound! Ah!
Well, I'll be a son of a bacteria. We've been lied to. But anyway, for our troubles, we at least get card 6, and now we finally know, hopefully, where the real Dr. Madnar is. So, onwards to new adventure. But, something tells me that we ain't gonna get out of this little dungeon facility quite so easily. There's gotta be some sort of elite mercenary of Outer Heaven guarding this place. And yeah, risk and reward. By the way, those oil drums also act similarly to what happens if you get run over by a tank, or if you fall into those conspicuous holes where if you so much as get within a fucking hair's breadth of its little circle area, nah mate, you're fucking dead. But at least the barrels are fair in that you can avoid them with skill, mate.
Guten Tag, ich bin Fire Trooper. I'll burn you to a crisp.
Now, I was hoping to contact Diane in the hopes of getting some boss information, but there is actually something that you don't actually find out until a little bit later, and that's only until you get the item required to ensure that you get communication in the underground dungeon area, so yeah, that kinda sucks, but yeah, you basically need like an aerial so that you can bypass the signal jammers that Outer Heaven has at this stage. But yeah, Fire Trooper. Diane's recommendation, RC missiles, which is pretty much how you took care of Shotmaker, Machine Gun Kid, and now Fire Trooper, who was a member, I think, of the German unit GSG-9, and basically, I mean, despite the fact that he will pretty much, you know, move left and right to try and damage you, yeah. He was basically hired by Outer Heaven after he was out of work with nowhere to turn, and thus, that's why he works for Big Boss. And I'm also starting to notice something that, I don't want to say is meant to be like a direct parallel, but I'm starting to wonder if like maybe some of the bosses in Metal Gear Solid 3, and I'm really only comparing this to I think it was it the Fury, or was it no wait, the Pain was the guy who shot bees. God, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a weird game. Yeah, but the Fury, Fire Guy, the Pain. I mean, again, you make all the arguments you want with, you know, bees because fuck it, but Machine Gun Guy. I wonder if they were trying to do some parallels here. Oh well, maybe it's not as black and white as it seems, because the budget ran out. And I think I might have brought this up in the previous... Actually, no, I did talk about cigarettes in the previous part, so scratch that thought. Anyway, that's where you go down to Building 3 via the waterworks. But again, you're noticing in that deep little water area that there's a water of a different color. Yeah, that's basically deep waters. You can't breathe in those waters. If you do, you'll gradually lose health, so we're gonna need an oxygen tank before we go down there. And, yeah. The game also accounted for this because, again, while you are, you know, in the deep waters, you can't use rations or anything else, so yeah, if you're thinking you could just tank the hits and go forth, you're sorely mistaken because you won't be able to get to the other side as much as you might think you would. So, yeah. No cheating. Ugh. Damn fucking meter readers. People outside my house. Ugh. Damn civil servants. Serving us civility. Why are they even here? But anyway, this was what I was talking about earlier.
This is Big Boss. They're trying to jam our signal, but we are okay on this frequency. Over.
Oh, well, thank God we're okay on this frequency. But yeah, if we had this before we fought Fire Trooper, we could have gotten Diane's little spiel on how to defeat Fire Trooper, but at this stage, since we already defeated him, all we'd really be getting at this stage is a message from Steve going, Snake, what the fuck are you doing? Stop hitting on my sister. Some things never change. Anyway, I could have been a little bit more stealthy and made usage of the cardboard box, but we're pretty well stocked at the moment, so no harm, no foul, I suppose. Yet another hospital.
Thank you for releasing me. The far end of the waterworks is connected to Building 3. Speaking of waterworks, I have to go pee.
Sorry about that, buddy. You're either gonna have to go in your pants, or go in that bucket at the behind of your cell. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Thank Nomino. Damn. This is Solidus-Skully. I forgot what my previous tangent was. Over. But yeah, this is also where the downward elevator is. Although I don't think you can really access it at this point, but yeah. At this stage, you're pretty much just gotta make your way up the lift and pretty much go up to the second floor, find Dr. Madnar, and that's primarily where we end the part, I believe. But we do still have a few things to do between now and then, so... filler commentary away! And I suppose I might as well get into some development history for Metal Gear, because this game initially had the pitch by Konami of war. Which, I mean, might sound like a very boring, simplistic pitch, but bear in mind how games were made at this time. They were pretty much just made based purely on whatever specific genre of game they wanted to create, and the skills of the created programmers to, well, pretty much flex their creative muscles and create something interesting. I mean, you probably would have had stuff like action, which could have meant anything from a platforming Super Mario Bros. Kind of thing to stuff like Contra. But anyway, with Metal Gear pretty much being saddled with something called War, this... the reason why it was changed to stealth was primarily because of the limitations of the MSX, how many enemies you could have on screen at one time, and of course what you could technically do with, you know, an action formula. And again, had the limitations of the MSX and Kojima's own ingenuity not been a thing, Metal Gear probably would have been a vastly different beast compared to what we have it today. It's debatable as to whether or not it would have been successful if it was anybody else developing it, but... I don't know, potentially Konami could have had their own Call of Duty years before that franchise was even a thing, so... yeah, it just goes to show how limitations beget creativity. Anyway, these are Bloody Brads.
Hi, this is Diane. Bloody Brad, who's protecting the door, is indestructible. Run away!
Yeah. Now, if you could no doubt tell by their very 1980s look, yeah, the Bloody Brads are basically an XP of the Terminator. They're called cyberoids in this game, and I believe they were they designed by Dr. Madnar? I'm not too sure. I don't know. I think they were at least based on his research because, yeah, Dr. Madnar, you know, being somebody who was into robotics, was also designing cyborgs, and obviously they were modeled after Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator because, you know, I mean, it was probably one of the most popular movies of the 1980s, and even to this day is still the best Terminator. Yes, that's right. Oh, yes, I went there. Yeah, but on a serious note, though, yeah, Bloody Brads, Diane means what she says. They are invincible, you have no way of defeating them, and the only one who knows how is Dr. Madnar, so... yeah, that's pretty much the only way you're going to be able to defeat any of them. But, anyways, we go back into these rooms and get some more ammo. Edit. Yeah, and when it comes to collecting all that ammunition, that also counts for pretty much all of your weapons. So, again, you're not just getting ammo for a specific gun, like, you know, your pistol or machine gun or whatever, but you're also getting it for the grenade launcher and pretty much everything else that isn't a specified item, like, you know, mines or plastic explosives. So, keep that in mind. You're pretty much filling up all your ammo as opposed to just one specific weapon. But anyway, just go up that hall, down the hills and far away, and you will find Dr. Madnar. And just to keep bums in seats, we're going to be seeing him in the next part, so on that note, I am the Solidus-Skully. Who are Liquid and Solid-Skully? Who knows, possibly my clone brothers, but I have not met them, and they have not met me. So next time in the Metal Gear commentary, we're finally going to have a conversation with Dr. Madnar, and hopefully he'll tell us how to stop Metal Gear. Catch you next time.